I was sent this post from the Christian marriage subreddit. And to the ladies that are in their 20s, it is perfectly fine to not be so anxious to get married and not to push a man to get married who does not really want to be there, because this is something that could happen. She says, regret my marriage. She is 26 and he is too. She says, I regret marrying my husband. We dated for a few years before we got married. We've been married for 7 months. While we were dating, I often felt like I wasn't good enough for him. He never called me beautiful, did not prioritize spending time with me. I wanted to get married right away and start a family. And in the beginning, he was on the same page. A few years later, with no talks of marriage, I started to bring it up more often. A few of my friends around me told me to break up with him. He finally proposed and wanted to push off the actual marriage, even though I wanted to get married quickly. Looking back, I very honestly should have gone with my gut. Even if he does love me, I should have wanted to be in a relationship where I felt desired, loved, and wanted. In our marriage, it is more frequent that I want to have sex and he does not. Even when we do, he is always closing his eyes and doesn't look me in the eyes. I feel so dumb that I wanted so badly just to be married that I did not listen to my own gut. Honestly, I wish he would just cheat on me so we could get divorced. Does anyone have any advice for me or is in a similar boat that I can talk to? I feel so alone in this. Okay, so remember, this is the Christian marriage. So let's see the theme of these comments. This person says, my husband isn't big on compliments. I used to take it personally, but I realized that was who he was. He never says anything nice about anyone. I figured I wasn't going to change him and stop expecting it. It helped our relationship. Now, when he says something positive, I know he means it. Consider that you are letting your husband control you. You might consider some dedicated time where you look a little pretty and are a little vague about where you're going. It'll help your self-confidence. This person says your husband should work on that, especially if you have kids. The lack thereof is really just a bad habit in most cases. And then she says maybe so, but forcing people to change doesn't usually end well. And that literally could be true. But you as a person, you as a 20-something-year-old need to figure out, is this something that I really want to live with for the rest of my life? This person said, I've had many regrets and I have to constantly remind myself of the good. Are there any qualities or traits that you like about him or your relationship? Oftentimes we get blinded by the negative and forget there is any good. God can mend all things. I know it seems so far and impossible at times, but He truly can. I have been there, and we are currently getting to a place where I finally feel close and connected again. If you have any godly counsel, um, I would highly recommend it, as often as it takes an outside perspective for our partners to see things we've been saying all this time. The next person says, I feel this so much. My marriage isn't a true marriage. Sometimes I wish my husband would just do something divorce worthy so I could stop waffling. This person says, I'm so sorry to hear your emotional loneliness and isolation. I know it's very hard. Your guts were or are absolutely right. Trust them. It might be worth considering all the verses that talk about goats, tares, and wolves in sheep's clothing. To me, this sounds kind of miserable. Are they really thinking that women should just have this as life? She's having a hard time and it hasn't even been a full year in. I say leave this alone, but like I said, this is the Christian marriage subreddit. So obviously they're not going to say just leave this alone. This is not worth your time forever. And they don't have kids yet. So, oh, but that's just me. I'm going to end it with this one. In a similar situation and married 16 years, I don't feel desired at all, so I get it. Once in a Christian marriage, you're basically stuck unless you break the covenant or they cheat, like you said. And then the OP says, I'm sorry, have you found contentment? And the person responds with, no, the last year has been really rough, ups and downs, constant turmoil inside of me. So this OP doesn't yet have kids. So she's not stuck. But just imagine 2 decades of not feeling desired within your own marriage. This could literally be the OP's life if she chooses to just stick it out simply because that's what their religion says. This is why I'm not really big on religion, because why should I have to live being unhappy forever? Like, what the heck? But it's going to be a different belief system, obviously. But I do want to point this one out. Step one is to recognize that marriage is not designed to bring about your happiness, but rather your holiness. So F your happiness. Yeah, F your happiness. Step two is to get involved in two things: a local Bible preaching church and marriage counseling. If he won't go with you in the beginning, go by yourself. He'll catch up. Y'all go ahead and weigh in. I say, F this. I'm not going to live like this, especially if there's no kids involved. You guys let me know what you say. I haven't talked about the PP Bros in a little while. This one was from a couple of days ago. It says, unpopular opinion, but this PP Bro movement is westernizing women in other countries. Basically, the PP Bros are taking their dysfunction to other countries and it's making women like us. Maybe they're the problem. Let's get into the post. He says, I already know this is going to be controversial, but hear me out. A majority of these PP bros are turning the women in these countries into Western women. I keep seeing posts about guys bragging about going on 10 different dates in 10 days, sleeping with woman after woman as they go from country to country, basically treating them like disposable rubbish, bragging about their matches on dating apps. What you don't get is you're decreasing your value every day that goes by as everyone and their brother goes abroad to be a degenerate. A great example is Thailand, which I wouldn't step 2 feet into these days unless you're fine with dating a woman who's been run through by about 15 degenerate PP bros. Most of these guys have no idea how to treat women and have never had any attention in their life, so they get this chip on their shoulder and think they're Dan Bilzerian or something. I have no idea who Dan Bilzerian is or something. When they go abroad, you are just creating the exact same problem that was created in Western women. What do you think happens when every woman in these countries has the same simp in her DMs, or every dude is lying about their intentions to sleep with her? A lot of these dudes need to learn how to treat women. This whole movement needs a shift, to be honest. Yes, it really does. And in his own way, he makes sense. He still wants to kind of put some of the issues on the women, but the women are not the issue. It's the men and how men are treating the women. But some of the comments. This person says, this was very much the case in Ukraine when I was there a few years ago. Some Western men would spoil women with flowers and gifts and fancy dates. Some of the women expected gifts on the first or second date and expected me to take them shopping and use me as a wallet. Other Western men were looking for easy nookie. It was very common for men to go there to date women, tell the women they were looking for relationships, tell the women whatever they wanted to hear to get them in bed, and then dump and abandon the women once the trip was over. So many women were completely jaded because of this, and eventually they began to assume that every Western man they met was a nookie tourist. And I was even asked on a date if I was only there for a nookie. It was really difficult to convince women that I was there with actual serious intentions and that I wasn't just saying that to get laid. The women there often refer to men going to the Ukraine as sex pests. I found that outside of the cities of Kiev and Odessa, this issue was much less of a problem, and the dating scene was not dragged down by sex pests. I wonder if that's true in Thailand, outside of Bangkok, and Colombia, outside of Medellin. I can't say, I haven't been to those countries. Seems like the sex pests are too lazy to take a train or bus to a smaller city. As a PP bro, I found the smaller cities to be the best places to meet more down to earth women without having to prove that I'm not just another guy there looking to hunch. In smaller cities, you don't have subways and convenient transportation and services, and it's harder to get by knowing only a little bit of the language. But nobody said finding love was easy. It was worth a little extra effort in my mind. I agree with you. Passport broing should be about finding serious relationships. It's fine to meet more than one woman on a trip because you need to meet many women before finding the right one. It's very unlikely the very first foreign woman you meet is the one. Myself, for example, I probably had about 100 or so dates, in a dozen different countries before I finally met my wife. Marriage was my end goal all along. PP broing should not be about having getting as much nookie with as many foreign women as possible. That's how the dating scene in other countries get ruined. I maintain that if you only hunch, you can find that in your own country or go somewhere where it's welcomed. Don't be the kind of guy local women regard as sex pests. Just don't do it. Okay, a woman is chiming in. She says, I think some guys on here are realizing how Western women became the way they are. It goes against their narrative that Western women just one day became awful. Wow, I guess maybe men had something to do with it. Hard pill to swallow, but if it's happening in other countries now, then maybe the problem isn't Western women, it's Western men. This person says literally this hedonism and simping. And then this next person says, or maybe the problem is just Western culture in general instead of one gender or the other. But I agree with you. Samara then continues with, absolutely. I see a lot of comments on here blaming Western women as if they just decided to go rogue one day and become lascivious women of the night. Likely they were made that way by their environment and experience with the men, like the OP describes. Cucumber says, I agree with both you and the previous commenter. I think there are many factors that have led to the current problems with Western dating culture. It's not just one gender or the other, or one political mindset versus the other. But in the case of Ukraine, I 100% blame the sex pests going for ruining the dating culture there. And I'm not talking about the guys there and paying for escorts, but I'm talking specifically about the ones who go there with the intentions to deceive women to get nookie and then abandon them. I think sex pests is a good name for those guys, and I think there's certain places that they can go. Okay, Gullible Elk says, many Western men are weak in character. Western women are reflections of the decline of Western masculinity. Uh, mm, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, but whatever. This person says, the thing is, women don't respect you. They can't love you. They will despise you, and they don't even know it. Throwaway says, Western masculinity is pretend. Gullible Elk responds with, perhaps nowadays that wasn't always the case. My grandfather was a shining example of what a man is and should be. Okay, Lupo says, Western women became as they are because they were slowly allowed more authority, and most are neither meant for it or know how to handle it. Okay, we were allowed authority of ourselves. Okay, with authority comes responsibility. A real man learns to sacrifice, feels the need to, so as to provide for health, happiness, well being, and comfort of those he has authority over and is responsible for. Women are beautiful creatures with a purpose and role, and like many of the other younger generations of boys, our society has just given them the authority without ever teaching them or holding them responsible. This leads to becoming petty, selfish, and demanding. I have guided my wife and repeatedly demonstrated to her how to how the two always go together, and she can freely choose to accept my authority as she did her father and enjoy being taken care of as I deem appropriate, flowers, candy, and other displays of my love and appreciation for what she does for me, or she can have authority over herself and accept that she must be fully responsible for herself, her food, housing, and all her wants and needs. Oh, some of these dudes be wilding out. That's all I got. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. And don't forget to like, comment, and share. I just want to remind the young ladies not to be so pressed about marriage, especially marriage in your early 20s before you have really established yourself. This woman is 22. Her man is 29. She posted this in the relationship advice subreddit. She says, my husband keeps telling me to come to Reddit about our arguments, so here I am. Do all men feel how my husband feels? Obviously, not all. Not all. Okay. She says, I've been with my partner for coming up on 3 years. So when she was 19, before her brain had fully developed, and her brain is still not fully developed. Just putting that out there. Our daughter is 4 months old. He makes sure to let me know how lazy I am, even though I'm the only one to care for our daughter or clean our house. He works a lot, and when he comes home, he spends a couple of hours on the game, and he might hold our daughter for a couple of minutes. He says that since I'm staying home caring for our infant alone, I should have dinner made, the dogs and pig should be fed, watered, obviously, and walked. Trash should be burned, dishes should be clean, floor swept and mopped, his other kids' rooms clean, every surface wiped down. He also says that there are gender roles and this is what a woman should do to keep her man happy. According to him, I don't deserve to be loved on until I finish the chores and put the baby to sleep by myself and make sure that he feels loved and cared for. Our daughter won't take a bottle and he won't help me with bottles so I can go back to work, but I'm also not helping financially. He doesn't stay up with our daughter. If I don't initiate Nookie, we don't have it. He straight up said he won't touch me in ways that please me because he's not in high school. I feel crazy. He's obsessed with the concept of disrespect. Everything I do is disrespectful. If the dishes aren't clean, if the floors aren't mopped, if I leave little trinkets around the house, if I started projects that I didn't get to finish and forgot about when the baby woke up, or if the baby has been a little fussy and I'm feeding her when he gets home, I'm a fat, lazy waste of space. And why didn't I get anything done today? I don't text him throughout the day telling him sweet little nothings, so I must not love him. I can't choose between being a mom and a partner, even though sometimes I have to because my daughter isn't capable of caring for herself. It's like he's mad that I can't be his mother for him, right? So, Reddit, what do y'all think? Please be honest because he will absolutely be seeing every word. This is what women are supposed to be clamoring for, right? The right to basically be a bang maid. All of the things that she talked about is multiple jobs and she's not getting any love and affection in return. She just gets the privilege of not going to work. When in actuality, this is the work of about 3 to 4 people. And then on top of that, the person that she has made a life with is this mean to her. What kind of life is this? What the actual F? Okay, some of the comments. I'm going to go ahead and say there's a reason why his other baby mama is proudly wearing her title of X, and you should probably go ahead and explore the same title and also wear it with pride once achieved. And the OP weighs in. He has 2 other baby mothers. Somebody else was like, girl, what are you doing? This person says 3 kids with 3 different women before 30. Girl, WTF. This person says maybe OP is colorblind and mistook all the red flags for green ones. And Basic Quantity says she was only 19 when he started with her, so she had a lot to learn about life at that age. I suggest to really young people that they don't even consider dating seriously until after they've gained a career and are capable of taking care of themselves financially. Amen. Let's keep pushing this narrative, keep saying that to young women. This person says they typically start with younger women and girls because they don't yet know themselves or have the self esteem to protect themselves, so they are easily to manipulate. What a piece of poop. This person says, why are you not seeing a counselor? And the psych meds can only do so much. Counseling is important. She says, my counselor made the decision to stop seeing me when he interrupted one of our sessions and I had to leave the video chat early. I haven't found a new one yet. So the counselor quit on her. This person says, need more info on this. Therapists normally explain why they are firing a patient, especially when it's clear they need the support due to a toxic relationship dynamic. And then the OP said it was starting to take a toll on her mental health, worrying about me was the gist of her resignation. If your counselor is quitting on you, maybe that is your exit sign. That is the red flag that's waving. If it's taking a mental toll on somebody that is trying to help you. This one is dysfunctional, ladies. Talk to your daughters especially. Show them some of these videos. Getting married this young is a dumpster fire of major proportions. It is a cluster F of major proportions. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So yesterday, I made a post regarding a rocking chair and a man who wanted his fiance to nurse in a rocking chair, an antique rocking chair. And this got a lot of people going on my page. And this woman says, some of y'all don't need to be in a relationship from these comments. It's a chair. A theme is not important. It's not that important. Y'all need help. But honestly, I don't think that this man is being very forthright. Like he said, she hasn't even seen the piece. I'm sorry, she hasn't even seen it yet. It's a beautiful piece. The only compromise so far is to get two rocking chairs or paint it, which I will not do. I do not believe that this man is willing to compromise with this woman. And like Corey says below it, if you won't compromise to paint the dang chair, I don't see any reason she should have to compromise with what you wanted either. There's obviously an option for both of you to come out of it happy, yet you are the one unwilling to compromise here. This is a poor partnership. And then he let us know it's an antique, beautifully stained. I'm trying to explain it to her. And then women are like, so it's wood. So it's wood. I have nursed two children. Sitting in a wooden chair does not sound comfortable. It just really doesn't. And if you are a woman and you thinking that a woman should bend on this simply because a man is making not even a suggestion, a demand, I don't know what to say about y'all, but this is where the woman who has to use the chair should get to override this decision, because I do not believe him when he says that it's just the theme. Remember, he also said that he will not paint it. This man does not sound like one that is for give and take, that is looking to, make his woman comfortable as she is nursing their child. So folks can, dig into the people that are just like on the woman's side, whatever. But this man does not seem like one that is going to bend even for the comfort of his fiance.